the second row forwards now. First is David Fafita. Looks a little bit chunky in this photo. No disrespect, David, but it's, I don't know, this isn't a good angle for poor David. Titans, you've done him dirty. Number two, Jermaine Hopgood. Number 3, Britton Nakora. Number 4, Sean Lane. And number 5, Brendan Piacura. David Fafita, first of all, obviously missing possibly the first 5 weeks from what we've heard with the pec surgery. And then there's even a bit of a worry how well he does come back, and if it's a worry that pec moving forward with the type of physical player that he is. The more I think about David Fafita, and as a non-owner of David Fafita at the moment, the more content I am about it, because there's starting to become a fair few what-ifs of a player. And if I'm spending that much on a player, I don't want as many what-ifs or what could happen as what there is with David Fafita. Now, it's obviously not a start with what's happening, so it's just about what's going to happen with this mid-tier group of players that we've got, and that seem to be just flooding Supercoach teams at the moment, and rightly so probably. And the injury to David Fafita helps that. It just makes people's minds up even more. Yeah, I don't know what to say with David Fafita, because I know he's a notorious gun, and I know if I say it too much, will easily come back to bite me. He'll come back and hit 100 straight away or something. I just feel like if I'm trying to just be somewhat human when I talk about this with Fafita, I don't think he can come back as good as what he can from a fresh pec injury. Like,
yeah, a pec's not a good one. Like, he's had surgery. But it's Dave Fafita, man. I feel like you just do it. You just chase the upside. That's what it is.
You still have him as a top 10 or 12 draft pick, don't you? That's how highly you rate him.
Yeah, I reckon even with a 5-week injury, he comes out and he gets drafted. Yeah, in the top 10. And like in my other league, I'm drafting from 11th. And I feel like if he fell
I think we may have lost Jesse quickly there. So, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, there we are. I'm back. Sorry about this. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope he doesn't fall to me at 11th, because I feel really bad not taking him, but I feel like I kind of have to. So it's risky, especially not having him for 5 weeks. But again, very long season. Man, he was the best last year. It was a clear standout. And I don't really see anyone kind of doing that again besides him. Because, yeah, averaged 81.5 out of 22 games. So it wasn't like he played a handful. You know, he's there for pretty much all season. Just a monster, dude. Dave Fafita's a beast. Best year he's had. I'd back him to do it again, but he might just start slower. So I probably won't get him instantly. If it's going to be one of those things where you give him 1, 2, 3 weeks to potentially drop in price. But I don't feel like they bring him back unless he's just banging ready. You know what I mean? Straight ready to go. And then he can come out and brain it. And then you're thinking, shit, how do I get him in the team the following week? So I am very ready for that to happen. I kind of hope it does, because I do want to get him in the team as early as possible. But you do need that stepping stone player for that to happen. So 5 weeks, it might be enough time if, one of these mid-ranges really takes off, to cash out pretty quick to get onto him, but you'd still need to do something else at the same time. So unless you've got someone to move up pretty quickly, you might be jumping the gun a little bit on him. You probably could afford to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, man, you just have to see. Pec injury, it's not a nice one. So just have to, wait, because there won't be any word about it too until he's in. And you can't imagine Des is going to let a lot slip. It'll either be he's in 1 week or he's not. And then what's his fitness like? Oh, well, he's in. He's obviously fit, in his grumbly voice in his press conferences that you just love so much. So probably get angry about all the questions every week, I think. But yeah, I still can't take him off the top spot for the best second rower in the game. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Jermaine Hopgood's a funny second, though. That's It's probably one
Haha.
position higher than I would expect it. I would have put Nakora there personally, just for the attacking upside that he can get for the run that the Sharks have playing outside Hines. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
too much of a good proposition for it, and the fact that he is cheaper by about 40K, um, 80 minutes as opposed to, well, Hopgood can play 80 minutes. I don't know if he will consistently, but he did it last year for a long time, so it just depends, dude. But yeah, no, and just the history of the player as well. Obviously, Hopgood's played one season incredibly well. Ranked himself third out of all the second rowers in there, um, with a 9% ownership. People are paying the big bucks for him. Even still, I feel rude buying him at that price, considering what where he knows he comes from. But it's a lot. It's a lot to
Consistency is
spend.
key for some.
It is key. That's the thing. Yeah, it's what you're buying. You're buying those points just every week, almost half guaranteeing that you're going to get anywhere from 60 to 100. It's not a bad thing to bank on because he will do it every week. Um, but yeah,
I'll say this about Jermaine. The fact
mm,
that he's top 3 in the rankings and average from last year, I think is exceptional because the players around him, you they obviously probably scored a fair few more tries compared to what Hopgood would have scored last year. So their price has probably been increased because of the try scoring as well. Hopgood is just a base stat god. Like that's where that 9% you talk about. I think they're just going, you know what? He's going to get me new stock standard, as you said, 60 to 80 points a week. And personally, I wouldn't go there. Like personally, I'm not doing that for any high class second rollers to start the season. But if I had different ways to go about my team, I'd think about him. One thing I don't want to do this year is play it safe. So unfortunately, for that price tag, I can't do it. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's just a price tag thing because
yeah.
I wish I could have him again. Honestly, I wish I could just rely on someone as much as you can rely on Hopgood. Um,
Put a
but
6 in the in the front of that, I'd be all over him. For some reason,
guarantee,
mentally, even just that 50K, I'd just go, "Yep, thanks."
yeah, but I suppose you put a 6 there and you start looking around what he's compared to at that same price, and then you make the point that he's better than all of them, and it's a very easy argument to make that you get him over anyone else. I'd rather him than Carrigan,
But that's what
Togu,
I'm saying.
all these other
I'd
boys.
go that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I for sure would as well, but unfortunately he's not, and we can't be doing that. We've got to look at what's in front of us.
Nakora, your boy, let
Nakora,
us
yeah,
hear
I like Nakora.
why
I'm
you're
I'm
so
very
high on
keen.
him.
Yeah, I'm very keen on Nakora. I think just in general with that starting run, he starts off pretty good. He's playing next to the best player in the game, scoring wise. Anyway,
Oh, hang on.
what's that?
Oh, sorry, the Supercoach game. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then another little thing, depending on what Fafita does look like he's doing, get Nakora in. You just keep Nakora too. That's the thing. Like if you've got Nakora, there's no real reason to trade him, but it could puts you in a really good position to just swap him for Dave Fafita, come that Sharks buy if he's in for that round 5 game, and then you haven't lost anything, and you've just got the best second rower in the game without really having to spend up. So just things to ponder on that may never happen, but um, I like his price at 710. I had him pretty much as long as I could have had him last season. I rode him out for a long time, and at 700, man, I'd be banking on that every single week. Um, Even without tries, he's scoring 70 points. So um, high score of 99. So he didn't crack the 100, but he
Oh,
got really close a fair few times, and a lot of it was a little bit higher. 70s were more consistent than anything else. So I'm pretty happy with that too. But again, it's just for that dollar, and I like the fixtures to start for the Sharks. I think they might hit it off. Um, Sean Lane and Piakura are heavily owned cashies for your number 4-5, sort of bypassing the actual guns outside of that for value. Um, Providing Sean Lane, like I don't think he is any doubt to start in that second row spot. It's definitely his. Just got to hope he gets back to that sort of form that he had 2 years ago, because then then you can have a really good point to make that he's got that value to really push him into the 60 pluses again. So I do like that. Unfortunately, Piakura looks potentially maybe a little injured to start. Don't know if it's anything to,
Spewing because
to
he looked
write home
so
about.
good on the
Yeah,
weekend. It
man, he was
was.
red hot. I was like, this
I was
guy
sitting there
is
on the lounge, just
yeah,
boom,
fired up
boom, and just
by the inches.
I was. Don't worry about League of Inches, mate. I was growing by the inches, and I was looking at my Supercoach team, just going, "Oh, Brendan Piakura. I
Yeah,
know some people think he's a trap still, but I'm looking at this going, how good is because straight away, like within the
so
first
quick, man.
set or two, they just went target him straight away. Like it just looked like the Broncos' game plan is now going to be around getting him into some space against the halfback or 5/8, whichever one he's going to be up against on the day. So he's he's a talent. I'm hoping this injury isn't what this as bad as they're saying it. Even if he's out for a week, I'm still going to hold him. I just no point playing around with that.
Yeah, if it's 1 week, just plug him.
Yeah.
Because that he looked good, man. He looked really good. He had the twinkle toes out. He was rapid for a big boy as well. I thought, geez, he could be on here. So it just depends on how long the injury is. If it's going to be a couple, I probably won't hold him. I probably won't start with him because it just gives you an extended amount of time to allow that price to change. Um, it might be one of those ones where I don't have him, but I have somebody else, and if they flop, then I just do that straight swap. I have to wait and see what happens, but I don't think it's serious enough to really worry too much yet. Anyway, I just hope it's not a big one because yeah, I was looking at that after that game, thinking, "Fucking here we go." Pico is the answer. You know what I mean? He's that guy that we've been looking for, that cheap mid ranger that's actually going to do us something good because a lot of the current owners at the moment probably stressing the fact that they haven't seen him start yet. Um, Sean Lane, obviously, we'll see what happens with him soon, so could be pretty good. Um, but yeah, man, pretty big exclusions from the top five. Just chucking those two in. Cameron Murray's one that I would probably have in there because I still feel like he's at a bit of a discount over probably
He
I
was
don't know
good on the
depending.
weekend. He was busy.
Yeah, very busy. It's good signs for him. I reckon he's could be going back to the old Cam Murray of not even last year I suppose hot and cold the year before and then the 5+ years before that very very good. So he's in there. Take your pick, man. There's so many. Jacob Preston. Um, he's up there. I do like him as well for his price. It's just a lot of doggies to keep in there, especially at 600. But I do like him at 600. That's the thing. And then heaps of mid ranges. So yeah, the second row position's huge. But the top dogs they're pretty clear when you look at the price of them. Just hoping that some of these
Yeah.
mid ranges can push their way up because I don't think the top guys are going to come down at all. So
I think you're pretty right. The honourable mentions part of the segment. There's too many like the centre wings. There's just we'll either disrespect people by not saying it. We'll forget someone that we should have said, or we'll be here until midnight once again. So I think that's pretty fair. We've already spoken about a lot of them in our team previews as well. If you haven't already listened to those, go ahead. Don't just listen to your favorite team either. There is obviously Supercoach. You've got to not be one-eyed with what you're listening to. There's a whole lot of players out there that are worth listening to. So make sure you go ahead and give our team previews a listen as well. I've broken it down into either the individual team itself or the actual complete episode that we filmed for that